Georgia Power, and by Dodge, born Dodge. Hello, Christian Bethencourt. He's got the night off tonight. A.J. Pierzynski's back in harness tonight for Game 2 of the series between the Braves and the New York Mets. If you're just joining us, our first pitch delayed about 30 minutes or so. Heavy rains about an hour before scheduled first pitch. Skies have cleared, but what we talked about when we first came on the air, Joe, is still very much applicable tonight. Trevor Cahill started last night, looked great early, got shellacked late, and Eric Stoltz gets the ball tonight, needing a good start at the back end.
They do need to pitch better, those two guys, and kind of complement the top three. As I said earlier, what would really help is for them to pitch a little deeper into the ball game, save the bullpen some. That would go a long way toward winning some games. You know, we'd have started 15 minutes ago if the ground crew, when they took the tarp off, hadn't spent 15 minutes cleaning off the bottom of the tarp. I've never seen that happen before. But they were blowing dirt off the underside of the tarp and scooping it up with their shovels and what have you. Almost like they needed to clean it before they rolled it back up. And we'd have started a lot sooner than this had it not been for that effort.
But we are just about ready to go. One more break, and then we promise to have baseball. It's the Braves and Mets. It's Game 2 from Citi Field. And we're back at it in a minute.
Bees. And Ram Trucks, Guts, Lori, Ram.
The Mets are taking the field. They're red hot. They've won 9 straight. They're undefeated at home. They're 8-0 here at Citi Field. Time for that to end. Let's see if this starting lineup for the Braves can take care of business in Game 2. Freddie Gonzalez is starting line, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Former Met Eric Young leads off. Callaspo bats second, plays third. Nick Markakis is on fire. He's the number 3 hitter. Freeman, Pierzynski, and Kelly Johnson. A lot of lefties stacked up in the middle of the order. A.J. Pierzynski with 3 homers so far this season. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop. Jace Peterson back in the starting 9. He'll play second. Stoltz to pitch. And Braves nemesis Dylan G gets the start.
Dylan G's 0-1 with a .759 to start the season. But take a look at this. He's pitched at least 5 innings in each of his last 48 starts, gone 17-15 over that stretch. Dwight Gooden has the team record, and he went exactly 5 innings against the Braves on April 11th. Gave up 8 hits and 5 runs and a home run to Freddie Freeman. He has pitched real well against the Braves in his career at 6-5, 3.13 ERA, and even better here at Citi Field. He's 28 years old, 6'1", 205 out of Cleburne, Texas.
And here's the D behind G tonight. Let's start in the outfield for the Mets. Kadire, Lagares, and Mayberry. Lagares can really go get him. Campbell's been impressive at third. Flores and Tejada, the double play combo. Lucas Duda in there against a lefty. That's a news story. And Kevin Plawecki made his big league debut last night with a couple of hits and a couple of runs, filling in for the injured Travis d'Arnaud.
They're on a roll. They're playing without David Wright. They're playing without Travis d'Arnaud. They didn't skip a beat last night, scored 7 runs. They're hoping to keep this train moving. First place and enjoying it.
A lot of smiles, as you can imagine, in that first base dugout in New York. So here's Eric Young Jr. ready to lead off for the Braves, who enter play tonight at 8-5 for the year. We are underway, ball 1. .55 degrees at first pitch. And there's a strike. The Siegel's got the plate tonight.
First look at Mr. Siegel.
I'll bet he loves umpiring in San Francisco. 2 balls and a strike. In the air toward left and playable. And there's out number 1. Correa drifts back. Looks like, Joe, and we say this all the time, modern fields drain very well. Looks like the field handled all the rain in reasonably good shape.
Yeah, they dumped the tarp off out behind shortstop. And there was a big puddle out there for a while, but it looks like it's soaked in.
Alberto Callaspo bats at .278 for the year. Heard Christina's report on Braves Live that Dylan G hopes to change his pitching pattern against Atlanta. He did not throw an awful lot of off-speed stuff. He felt that was a costly mistake. This one's dumped down the left field line and just fouled. Callaspo missed a double by inches.
Yeah, one other thing he added to that was that during the game he didn't notice it. It wasn't until he went back and looked at film that he realized he didn't use his curveball much. I'd say that's focused and locked in where you're not even cognizant of what you're throwing. We saw Jonathan East last night throw a lot of fastballs.
And we're going to see a ton of them here tomorrow, weather permitting, because Bartolo Colon's pitching game 3 for New York. And Toronto gets the ball for the Braves. 0-2 for Callaspo, just underway. 30-minute rain delay. First pitch. And up and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. G's got something to pitch for. He's the last Mets starter without a quality start this season. And as Joe alluded earlier tonight, we've got a lot of fireballers in their minor leagues that are ready to make the move to Big Show. And if G continues to struggle, maybe the Mets would have to consider a move.
Yeah, a kid named Montero, I believe, is the one that they think might be ready.
From 0-2 to a full count.
G's last start was against Miami. 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits and 4 runs. Gave up 2 homers. His teammates bailed him out. The Mets came back to beat Miami 7-5.
Long at bat for Callaspo. Pitch number 8 is ripped to short. Wilmer Flores, a strong arm, gets his man. 2 outs. Flores was awfully shaky down in Atlanta. No evidence of that in the first 2 games in New York at shortstop.
I don't know what was going on in that series, but did not look like himself.
And that'll bring up the hottest hitter on the club. That's Nick Markakis. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
How about that average against right-handed pitchers so far? .613 on base percentage.
And G got ahead of him. Strike 1. Nick 7th in the National League in hitting. A .372 average. And 13 hits in his last 27 at bats, covering 8 games.
Two for 3 against G in Atlanta.
Tried the inside corner and barely missed. 89-mile-an-hour fastball. And a 2. There's a breaking ball, and Markakis spoiled it. Talked as well the importance for the Braves. Get off to a good start offensively. Get in some rhythm. Get a couple of runs early. The Braves are 6-1 when they score first this year. This one's popped into shallow left. Eric McDyer will handle his second chance. Dylan G off to a 1-2-3 top of the first. Eric Stoltz gets the ball for Atlanta. No score in New York. Come the Mets. Terry Collins starting 9, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. As Joe said, Mets are rolling. They've outscored their opponents by 22 runs in the first 14 games. John Mayberry leads off. Those are his numbers against lefties. He also has an April 10th homer against Eric Stoltz. Duda is hitting lefties very well. That's a very important note, and a man that Mr. Stoltz has to be very concerned about.
No question about it. His numbers, though, against the Mets in his career, quite good. 3-1 with a .287. Makes his third start tonight. Looking for his first win.
Downstairs for John Mayberry Jr. 1 ball, no strikes. In the air, right center field. Young on the run. Still going. Diving try. Can't get it. It's up against the fence. Mayberry around second. He's digging for third. Simmons' relay won't be made. It's a leadoff triple.
Terry Collins knew what he was doing. John Mayberry hit a home run off of Stoltz in Atlanta. Was 1 for 3. But he came into that game 4 for 8 in his career against Stoltz, and tonight leads off with a triple. This ball hung up for a while. Looked like Eric might track it down, but couldn't quite get there. And a leadoff triple for the Mets. They're in business.
So Lagares will bat with nobody out. Lagares at .273. He's knocked in 7 runs, including 2 last night. Ball 1 outside. Way up and away, ball 2. Out of play to the right. 2 balls and a strike.
Time for the 4 keys to pitching success for Eric Stoltz. Number 1 tonight, home runs. He's given up 3 home runs. They've led to 6 of the 7 runs he has allowed. And a little better changeup tonight would help his arsenal too.
to an even count. 2-2. Great things about baseball is watching young players figure it out at the major league level. You can say that about Lagares. Hit 281 last year and won the Gold Glove in center. Undrafted free agent, signed by the Mets 9 years ago. Defensive run saved. Jason Hayward last year for the Braves had 32 defensive runs saved. Lagares played 372 fewer innings.
Goodness.
He's a Brave right fielder.
Yeah, he's the best in the National League.
And a big strikeout by Stoltz. That has been the hole for Lagares offensively. That's the 11th time he struck out. And with David Wright hurt, he's their best option to hit second.
Yeah, it's a good pitch, too. Went upstairs with a fastball. Got it by him.
So here's the early key for Eric Stoltz. Lucas Duda hit a .180 against lefties last year. He's in the lineup tonight, and he's 5 for 10 against them this season. Braves have a shift on for him. And Duda is a little late. Strike one. Mayberry led off with a triple. And upstairs. Braves know all about a left-hand hitting first baseman who can hit left-handed pitching. That is a huge luxury, is it not?
It is. Don't have to worry about doing any platooning.
Two balls and a strike. Duda with a homer, 8 RBIs. Ahead in the count with 1 out. Good pitch from Eric, evens it up.
Good pitch there. Took a little bit off. I think it was a slider. It wasn't his changeup. But had him out on his front foot. Now 2-2. He can afford to try to get Duda to expand his zone.
Shift is off. Infield creeps in.
Got long arms. Tried to come in on him. All he could do is fight it off. Duda's not typically a guy, Chip, that'll cut down on his swing, just try to put it in play. So hopefully this defensive alignment works out.
Off speed line and caught by Freeman. Duda ripped it to first, and Freeman was there, and there's a big second out.
Like I said, he's not going to shorten up and try to go to left.
No.
Good job by Freddie.
So a strikeout and a line out. Infield can back up for Michael Kadire, the Mets cleanup man. His 7-game hitting streak ended yesterday. It's a big run to leave 90 feet away. If Eric can do it, he's ahead of Kadire with a strike.
Got a good fastball tonight. 89. Yeah, 90 upstairs.
Gives ground, and he's going to have room. What a job by Eric Stoltz.
That away.
A leadoff triple, and the Mets cannot put the game's first run. We have the second. repeat performance against Dylan G in the second inning tonight.
Not a whole lot of doubt about this one, even though Fred Granderson gave a leap. That thing was hit about 9 miles high.
Tough night for Freddie at the plate last night. Hitless with 3 strikeouts, and he swings at the first pitch. Kadyr's been busy, backtracks, makes the play, and there's the first out. Freddie made it out on the first pitch, but I like the fact that he went after that first fastball.
Yeah, they took a lot of first pitch fastballs last night, and with the way Nice was pitching, it was pretty much 0-1 every time they did.
Here's A.J. Pierzynski. Man that's been in the big leagues as long as A.J. has been. Hard to believe this is his first big league game at Citi Field. And when he's played, you see how productive he has been. Sharply hit. Duda can't get it. That's down the right field line. And Pierzynski's going to sniff out an extra base hit.
That might be a triple. Maybe not. Did I get carried away?
The mind was willing, the legs weren't, but we'll take it. 2-base hit for A.J.
He'll be proud to know that I was at least a little bit thinking that. Boy, is he swinging the bat well.
Braves have their first scoring chance from A.J. to K.J. Kelly Johnson. Kelly's knocked in a couple of runs. And he's edging ever closer to a hit milestone. Kelly 13 hits away from number 1,000.
With that big 9th inning home run to tie the game in Toronto the other day too. Saturday.
Short high. 2. Braves looking for their first hit with a runner in scoring position in the series. Run scored last night on a Cameron Maybin homer. Big ball went G's way. 2 balls and a strike. Pierzynski a big lead at second. Outfield, I should say, creeps in. Rounder toward Campbell. He'll scoop and throw the first in time. Duda's not afraid to come off that bag quick, isn't he?
He's cheating a little bit, and that's okay as long as you don't make it too obvious. But that was fairly obvious. And that cheating word is a term that baseball players use when it's like a middle infielder on a double play coming across the bag a little quick. I think his foot was on there.
2 outs for Andrelton Simmons. 7 RBIs for the Braves shortstop. Bouncing ball up the middle, base hit. Here comes A.J. around third. Lagares loads up. The peg toward the plate. On target and not in time. Simmons with a 2-out hit scores A.J. Pierzynski, and the Braves have scored first.
So you could have had a triple. Those kind of wheels. Score on that sharp base hit up the middle. Good piece of hitting by Andrelton to take that pitch down and away, back through the middle. And I think one thing that really helped here is the slow turf from where they dumped the tarp out there. Tag was on the back. And his foot was already across the bag.
Terry Collins came out. He's going to challenge this call at the plate. That second angle, you are right. You saw the tag on the back. I think the Mets saw Pierzynski's leg bent, and maybe he had not touched the plate by the time that tag was applied. Let's see from this angle. There's no way the umpire could see the tag on the back from that angle.
His foot hit the plate. I don't think that they can change that.
And again, there has to be clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was safe.
He's safe. Fans here are reacting to some replays, but every one of the replays shows him safe.
I think they're oohing and eyeing at the great speed and slide of Brzezinski. That's
Could be.
Fired up about. The Braves were at their best offensively in Toronto. They had a lot of 2-out run scoring hits. For the moment, Simmons provides one here in the second to make it 1-0.
And if the only thought was whether or not his foot touched the plate, it did when he first hit the ground.
So the verdict is in, and the ruling is safe. So the call stands. The Mets lose their challenge. Brzezinski scores the first run of the game. It's 1-0 Braves. Nearly a 2-minute review of the play. A minute 56 officially. The call on the field stands. And Jace Peterson can score Simmons with a 2-out hit. Jace batting 8th tonight. A ball, no strikes.
Good base running on Andrelton's part. 2 outs on a base hit like that. One of the things you do as a batter runner is keep running, hoping they cut the ball off to get you. If they cut the ball off, then obviously the run will score, and if they get you in a run down, okay, but Braves would have a 1-0 lead. He's still at second base now.
Surprised, frankly, that Lagares didn't get more on that throw than he did. He was 20 feet behind second base.
Yeah, he wasn't that far away, but I think it's wet out there from where they dumped the tarp. The ball might have been pretty soaked.
That's the mantra of this Braves team. They will at some point run into some outs at the plate. They are going to force the defensive team to catch it cleanly, pick it up cleanly, throw it cleanly, and tag it cleanly. Now Peterson wisely takes ball 4. The Mets wanted to see if he'd get himself out. He didn't. And the intentional walk will clear Eric Stoltz here in the Braves second.
Well, as Christina pointed out earlier, the Braves are 6-1 when they score first. So here's a good indication of perhaps good things to come tonight.
Two on, 2 out for the Braves pitcher, Eric Stoltz. Strike 1. He doesn't like that call as a hitter, but he sure hopes to get it when he's on the mound.
Eric's 0 for 2, but he's had a couple of good swings. Maybe he can loop one in somewhere. The outfield's so shallow. If he were to hit a gapper and score 2.
Braves get a second inning run. Anderson Simmons with 2 outs brought home A.J. Brzezinski, who doubled. 1-0-2 count for Eric Stoltz. And the breaking ball is a called third strike. And that'll retire the side. Braves strike first. Big 2-out hit from Atlanta shortstop Andrelton Simmons. 1-0 Braves lead it.
to Andrelton Simmons, who we all know what he can do on defense in the outfield. But what he's been working on so far this season and focusing on is his progress at the plate. He said he has really been making progress and said he's swinging more at strikes this year versus last year. He's a little more patient and he feels really comfortable right now. So he's happy with the progress that he has made, and it's showing out on the field, guys.
Couldn't agree more, Christina, especially his efforts to go up the middle into right center. I think it's really paying dividends for him.
Hamilton now with 8 runs batted in. Last year, as Eric Campbell takes a strike. Last year, Andrelton frustrated with a .244 average and 46 runs batted in. Already on pace to be much more productive offensively.
Yeah, he was way too pull conscious last year and trying to hit homers all the time. No matter what Greg Walker and Scott Fletcher talked to him about with regard to that, it didn't soak in.
2-1 for Campbell. Ground ball, timing try. Castro can't get it. It's off the tarp and down the left field line. Campbell on his way to second. Off balance throw will be late, and he's doubled to start the second.
Campbell had a good night last night. 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. Pulled that one right over the base. Now they've got an area of their stadium here that's a lot like Philadelphia in that it juts out right near the foul line. So when it hits it, in this case it hit the tarp, it just died right out there where somebody's got to go get it.
Kevin Plawecki, an unforgettable night last night. His big league debut. His parents were here. His first 2 major league hits and his first 2 major league runs. That's also, Joe, very impressed with the way he handled this Mets pitching staff last night. One ball, no strikes. Got a scouting report from his injured catching counterpart Travis d'Arnaud. Apparently took him out to dinner and gave him the rundown on the whole staff before his first big league assignment.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good pals dating back to spring training and before. See if he's swinging 3-0. Said he was very nervous his first at bat. Was glad to get that one out of the way.
Driven toward right. Markakis is there. Campbell's going to tag, and he's going to slide in safely. If Milwaukee was nervous last night, his first bat, you wouldn't know it. He hit a rocket right at Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, great job there. Going the other way, getting that runner over. A lot of high fives for that. And the infield will come in again.
And Wilmer Flores is the Mets shortstop and 7th place hitter.
He had a couple of hits last night, but 0 for 4 in his career against Stoltz.
The bottom of the order for the Mets last night did a ton of damage. Campbell 2 runs, Plawecki 2 runs, Flores 2 runs scored. Yanked foul around the play. Talking to some of the best people about this New York club, Kevin Long has brought a very aggressive attitude and energy level to their hitting coach's position. He wants these guys aggressive early in the count.
Well, he'd be aggressive on belt high sliders. And he just yanked into the second level down the left field line.
Complaint for the Mets last year was how selectively aggressive they were. Not at They would wait to get 2-1, 3-1 counts. Take first pitch fastballs for a called strike. That's not the case so far in 2015.
Good pitch there. It was down from Eric. That's what got Trevor Cahill in trouble last night in the 5th inning, was elevating his pitches.
Two strikes. Ruben Tejada's next. He's the second baseman. Dylan G for New York. In the second, 1-0 Braves lead it. AJ, a nice stop.
Trying to throw that slider to the hitter's back foot, down and in, to get him to top it, but he hasn't been able to. They threw a slider pitch before in the dirt, kind of down out over the plate, but it was in the dirt, so he didn't offer. And if he was trying to go back to the back foot slider, again, it was about belt high.
Down the right field line, Markakis had chased that near the stands, and have a play. Base hit. We're tied at 1. So Wilmer Flores having himself a terrific week. That's his 7th hit in the last 5 games. He brings home Eric Campbell with his 6th RBI, and the Mets have tied it at 1.
Well, that's why they've won 9 in a row. You lead off double, get him over. Good at bat from Flores. Got another slider that was up. They tried kind of a backdoor there, but it was up, so he could reach it. Got him over, got him in, and Flores had been behind in the count, 0-2.
That brings up Ruben Tejada, a .273 hitter for New York. Slowly hit toward Jace at second. He kicks it. Second base been the Bermuda's triangle defensively for the Braves in this series.
Same thing happened to him that happened to Gosselin last night. He got in a big hurry. I'm not sure they were going to turn a double play here, but he was going to try to give Simmons every opportunity. And in his haste, picked his glove up too soon. As Gosselin said last night, he said, I make that play 99 times out of 100. I just got in a hurry.
The Braves, who committed one error over their first 108 innings, have now made 3 in the first 11 innings of this series in New York.
The hard part for a pitcher here is that they didn't get one out. even if they weren't going to get 2, just getting the lead runner would have helped Eric's cause here.
Yeah, then you have 2 outs and the pitcher up, a chance to end the inning.
Yep.
He's going to try to give himself up, and then you have to face Mayberry, and we've already seen what he's done with Eric Stoltz.
Already 2 sacrifices for Dylan G on the year.
Not bunting that time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bunted over by the Mets on deck circle. 2.
Getting his signs from former Mets infielder Tim Tuffle, coaching at third. See where Tim goes here. He's really close to the dirt in the third baseline. You don't see a third base coach get that close typically, especially with a right-handed hitter up there. Maybe the bunt's on again, and he's kind of giving it away by being there.
It's a slug. Callaspo to second. Bad throw. Peterson held the bag. And G hustled down the line to keep the inning alive. Callaspo hurried his throw and nearly threw it into center field. Great athletic play by Jace to get the second out.
Fortunate to get the 1 out there. Inning ought to be over.
Mayberry tripled to start the game.
Have this kind of success that Mayberry's had against him, you just kind of hang out over the plate and invite him to try to pitch you in the middle half on the middle end part of the plate. A lot of confidence when you're facing that guy that you hit so well.
I'm told this is Mayberry's first major league start as a leadoff hitter. Trying to produce another run with a 2-strike count. He had a good rip at that one.
Again, he's hanging out over the plate. Stoltz tried to get upstairs where he couldn't reach it, and he still got a piece of that one. He was successful going up there on Kadire. Mayberry even fouled that one off.
Try inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lots of pitches from Stoltz. 45 of them. He's now through the second. First and third for the Mets. Tie game. Pitch is caught and missed. And that'll retire the side. Braves gave the Mets an extra out. Fortunately, didn't cost them more than 1 run. We head to the third. Game tied 1 apiece. jersey and you come back and do some more of this to the Mets.
Well, you know Chipper would love that. A little damage in Shea. A little damage in Turner Field. A little damage at Citi Field. Jonathan Nice. Oh, upper tank up there by the Stadium Club. 309, 49 homers against the Mets. 29 game-winning RBIs. I think 28 of them came in his MVP year.
Yeah, right. Well, Chipper's in the ballpark tonight. Hopefully he'll join us up in the booth at some point this evening. No promises. We'll see what happens as Eric Young Jr. leads off in the Atlanta third. It's foul away for a strike. Down and in, evens the count. Keep you updated on all the other scores as we move along tonight. Rams start play 2.5 behind the Mets in the East. Washington's got a wild one brewing with the Cardinals. That one's 5-5 in the 4th inning at Nationals Park. Little dribbler right side. Duda's got it. G races to the bag and beats Young. We're up number 1. Something must be wrong with the baseballs in Milwaukee. They've only scored 1 run. It's the 1st inning.
Wasn't that crazy last night? 3 grand slams. 2 by the Reds. How many total homers? 7
total homers. And for the 4th time in big league history, there was a total of 3 grand slams in a game. It was 16-10 Cincinnati won.
Mike Fiers, a starting pitcher for the Brewers, gave up 2 grand slams. That'll dent your ERA.
Cayaspo, the batter. Brewers might need a hug. They want a do-over. They're 2-12, their worst ever start, and they found out they lost one of the game's best catchers in Jonathan Lucroy.
Foul tip broke his big toe.
Has run into Johnny Cueto tonight.
Yeah, I'm surprised that doesn't happen to catchers more often.
The low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Washington beat the Cardinals 2-1 last night. Yunel Escobar with a game-winning homer. And that one slapped into left field. That'll get down for a 1-out single. 3rd hit of the night for the Braves. Cayaspo serves it, and that sets it up for Nick Markakis.
Yeah, Cayaspo had a cold road trip. He was 2 for 15 prior to this base hit. That was a good at bat by Alberto, which is more in keeping with the way he'd been swinging the bat.
Markakis flat out to end the Braves first. See if Atlanta can string together some hits and take the lead back against Dylan G. And up and away. 1. Marlins and Phillies tied 1-1. That game's in the 5th inning. Cozart and Hamels. Marlins are 3-11.
Braves are going to see Aaron Harang first game against the Phillies Friday night. Harang, Buchanan, and Jerome Williams for the Phillies over the weekend.
Phillies having trouble scoring runs. They've hit 8 homers in the first 2 weeks as a team. Lined and caught at second. A snow cone for Tejada as Markakis nearly ripped it through the webbing.
Nick roped a bolt to left field his first time up, and now gets robbed of perhaps a double on a perfectly timed leap by Tejada. And you're right. Vanilla.
Two outs for Freddie Freeman. He flied out his first time up. He started like a house of fire in the first 7, 8 games. Dry spell of late. Ladder high for a strike. 2-1. It's not that he hasn't hit the ball hard. He hasn't hit it in any luck. He's had to hit it over the fence, it seems, for him to register a base hit.
Last night it didn't seem like he was ever in a hitter's count. Tonight he gets in a hitter's count 2-0 and they throw him a changeup. That seems to be happening a lot too. Pitcher's trying not to give in to him.
Right under the knuckles, and all he can do is foul it to the right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's method to Freddie Gonzalez's madness, as hot as A.J. Przinsky is. Have him protect Freeman. But we'll have to wait and see. Freddie strikes out, and Dylan G sends this game to the home third, tied at 1. Trivia standings in quite some time.
And all I can say about that is, well, I'm in second place. All others, boy, you're going to have to do something about that.
Yeah, that's complete and total lack of respect, but somewhat understandable. Our AT&T Universe trivia question is, John Smoltz is 4th all-time for strikeouts by a National League right-handed pitcher. Who's first? Most strikeouts in the National League all time by righty.
Bob Gibson.
That's a great guess. Tom Seaver.
Or in Metland. Yeah, that's a good call too.
Tom Seaver's 3,000th strikeout victims in the broadcast booth. Tonight, as Harris takes a strike. Keith Hernandez.
Yeah, I was going to say, not me this time.
Not you this time?
No.
Did he get you?
Gaylord, maybe. Yeah, I think he did.
Told the story before, but how different history in Atlanta might have been written had Tom Seaver been allowed to remain a Brave. He was a bonus baby out of Southern Cal. Braves had him, but had to give him up because he relinquished his amateur status pitching in a couple of exhibition games. And he went into a lottery. The Mets won the lottery and never looked back. There's Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, and Keith Hernandez, the Mets broadcast team. Good guys, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, he's a funny dude too. He could probably tell you all about that at bat, where he was the 3,000th strikeout.
He also, I think, hit a grand slam in the infamous 4th of July game back in Atlanta, which was won by Ron Darling. Well, he saved it. It was a crazy night in Atlanta when Rick Camp hit the home run. Part of this great Mets-Braves rivalry, which may be being rekindled. New York off to its good start. And Lagares is struck out for the second time. Stoltz off to a fine third inning.
Yeah, put him away with a good changeup this time. Got him to chase a high fastball first time around. And keeping that leadoff man off base. Triple in the first inning, didn't score. Double in the second inning, leading off the inning, did score. Last night it was leadoff walks that killed the Braves.
Told you about Duda's improved work against lefties. He's 0 for 1, but absolutely nailed a baseball right to Freddie Freeman for the second out of the first inning. Away. 2 balls and a strike. Now it's full count.
Kind of a get over breaking ball there. And it was a slow one, so he was out in front. All he could do was pull it foul. And come back with it. A.J. Brzezinski with a little polish of some kind on his fingers. You can see the day glow on his fingernails.
Popped him up. Center of the diamond. And it'll be Stoltz who has to climb the pitcher's mound. He backpedaled to make the play, and there's the second out.
3 straight sliders to finally retire him, and with the shift on for Duda, he's kind of the only guy in that area of the field. The third baseman to call him off, so he did the right thing in making the play.
2 outs for Kadire, who fly to right. Kadire's been around a long time. Some eyebrows were raised when they gave him a 2-year deal. But a professional hitter, great clubhouse guy.
Yeah, the only thing questionable is just health.
Yeah.
Just can he stay healthy?
He couldn't last year in Colorado. Mets are banking on him this year. Nearly lost him on this homestand. He got hit by a pitch when the Marlins came to town. Fortunately, he escaped injury. 12 homers away from 200. Ground ball left side. Callaspo cut it off, sets and fires, and Stoltz has his first 1-2-3 inning. That's encouraging. We head to the 4th. A.J. Brzezinski leads off in a tie game.
good ball game. And as the saying goes, there's a first time for everything. And tonight, A.J. Pierzynski is playing for the first time here at Citi Field in his long and successful career. As we take a look at the T-Mobile game changer numbers, take a look at that. He's hit home runs in 27 of the 30 current ballparks. The only two, Nationals Park and Dodger Stadium, are two that he has not gone yard in. So naturally, I talked to AJ earlier and said, you know, it would be really cool if you hit a home run in the ballpark tonight. He said, you know, that's just way too much pressure. But a feat in and of itself, hitting a long ball in all parks, but just 3 guys.
Yeah, the 3 left for him are Citi Field, Nationals Park, and Dodger Stadium. Took care of Turner Field earlier this year. That was also on the list.
Well, we can say we've been to all 30 parks.
There you go. All those strikes. A.J. Pierzynski. Guys like A.J. are so invaluable to your ball club. And look, he's talked about his reputation around the league. And among fellow players.
Look at this.
As he goes the other way for a 2-hit night. All he cares about is beating you. And maybe that's what rubs some of the other guys in baseball the wrong way. He'll be your buddy after the ball game, but between the white lines, he's old time, man, old school.
Yeah, not for 9 innings, or whatever it takes. Good job of hitting there, going the other way.
So a good start for the Braves. They have their first leadoff man on. And here's Kelly. And he shoots one into center field. Lagares tried to fake out Pierzynski, but no such luck. Back-to-back Atlanta hits. And something's brewing here in the 4th inning.
Target down and away. Pitch was delivered there. Kelly spoiled it. Probably broke his bat in the process. But he'll take it.
And Joe, 2 hits early in the count.
Yeah. Yeah, loving that. Something the Braves did not do last night.
Andrelton Simmons has the Braves RBI. It was a 2-out single back in the 2nd inning. First Braves hit with a runner in scoring position in the series. Hopefully here comes the second. And that corner inside corner, a strike. Drive to left, but right after Dyer.
And I mean, right on the button. He went double up on the G double up on the breaking ball, and Andrelton was all over it, but right at him. Just like the ball that Markakis hit. When you hit a ball like Simmons just did, and you've done everything right, waited, hit it on the nose, and it's just right at somebody, it just kind of makes you a little sick inside.
Two on, 1 out. Jace Peterson, the hitter. That's walked him intentionally back in the 2nd, and then Eric Stoltz struck out to end the frame. Jace at 212. RBI. Belt high. Even count.
Even though it was an intentional walk, though, it was his 4th one. So he's been getting on base.
Left side, Campbell gives chase, and that's out of play. We've talked a lot, Joe, about how the composition of this club will require or allow, depending on which verb you want to use, Freddie Gonzalez to mix and match and move guys up and down this batting order. Jace Peterson started the year hitting 2nd. Now he's hitting 8th. That's a Take a little of the pressure off him.
Yes.
Going offensively.
I think that's why he moved him down, because he had gone into a little bit of a drought, ran up some strikeouts. Take him out of the 2 spot, let him just do his thing down lower in the order. He could lead off too, though. He gets going with his good eye. He could lead off.
There is that good eye. Looked away. A couple close pitches. Now it's 3-2. Brzezinski, Kelly Johnson, the runners. Full count, pitch, 1 out. Here it is. Little dribbler. G's got it. Off balance throw to second. And Flores with a nifty turn completes the double play. Braves had 2 on, nobody out in the 4th. They're doubled up, and we head to the bottom half, still tied up. Bobblehead 4-game plan now, and get all 4 of the 2015 bobbleheads, beginning with the Javi Lopez model, May 20th, when the Tampa Bay Rays come to town. Get your bobblehead 4-game plan now by visiting Braves.com/4game. This is game 2 of our series with the Mets, and we've got a good one brewing. Atlanta 1, New York 1. And the Mets are up in the 4th inning. Campbell, Plawecki, and Flores. Campbell's filled in very nicely for David Wright. He's been on base in each of the 7 games he's played since David went out with a hamstring problem. The Mets are very optimistic that their captain will be back in 3 weeks. He injured that hamstring on a slide at second base.
This guy's a pretty good looking player, but what a shame for him that he's got to be
to right. Marquez should have no trouble.
Got to be locked behind right at third base. He did get some playing time, and sometimes he's at first base. Now Duda has established himself there. So Eric's just got to pick up some of the slack when needed, and he's doing a good job of that.
He's 1 for 2. Plawecki, the catcher, also flied out to right tonight. Starno out with a broken hand. But New York doesn't think this man's a placeholder. They think he can be a really good player for a long time for them behind the plate.
That's why when they brought him up, they said he's not going to split time with Anthony Recker. Recker's still going to be the backup. This guy's going to play. And when I asked Terry Collins, I said, is he a good catch and throw catcher? And he goes, well, if he was a great one, he'd have already been here, because Darno has some shortcomings behind the plate.
Popped up, deep short. Who wants it? Young in center. There's the second out.
He said he's solid behind the plate and throws out his share of guys, which the manager was trying to be complimentary there.
So that begs the question for the future. If Kadire, the first 2-year contract, the same situation might hold up for Travis d'Arnaud. Could he move to the outfield and play out there at some point for him?
That was the suggestion, yes.
So we know he can hit. Those hamstrings haven't shortened up from all the years behind the plate, you'd think. Only time will tell. Here's Flores. He has the Mets RBI tonight, his 6th of the season. All of a sudden, as he's played better, all the hullabaloo in New York about the Mets' dire shortstop situations kind of gone by the wayside here in the last week. To third, Callaspo, friendly hop, perfect throw, and Eric Stoltz is settling in. He's retired 8 straight. He'll lead off the 5th.
Right stuff, low price every day.
It's 1-1. We head to inning number 5. Eric Stoltz, the Braves pitcher, gets things started against Dylan G, who's had a better time of it. His second start against Atlanta this year, and that's, frankly, Joe, no surprise, especially against the Braves here in New York.
Well, if he can get through this inning, that would be 49 straight starts with 5 innings or more.
It's the longest active streak among Major League pitchers. It's closing in on Dwight Gooden, who had 50 such games. At one point, the 0-2 pitch is a roller foul.
He had not pitched well coming into this start. Again, he was his job was kind of on the line. 10 2/3 innings, he'd given up 9 runs.
The strength of this Mets team, quite obviously, is their starting staff. Their starters collectively are 10-2. G's the last Met without a quality start this season. He's tied here at the top of the 5th. In fact, the last National League team with 10 starters wins in their first 14 games was the 1994 Braves. And that rotation featured Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, Avery, and Merker. Pretty impressive. That's up and away. 2-2.
Yeah, those guys were really good, weren't they?
Yeah. Stoltz is retired swinging. There's out number 1, third strikeout. LNG.
Mets are looking for their 10th straight win. They haven't done that in 7 years. July of 08. Since that last happened.
Sorry, Joe. And they want to keep rolling. This is a big series for them. They're National League rivals from Atlanta, but the big weekend series is with the Yankees. And they've got their rotation set up just the way they'd like it. They've got DeGrom and Harvey set to go in the first 2 against the Bronx Bombers, who are winning in Detroit again tonight. Yankees are playing good ball. 1 ball, no strikes for leadoff man Eric Young. Eric is 0 for 2. Walk will be nice. Eric stole 30 bases for the Mets last year. Dunn was ready to take a walk. Full count though.
Check out our PNC pitching performance. Pitch tracks off the mark.
In the air toward right. Long run, and Mayberry can't get there. Young around second. He's on his way to third. He's flying, and he'll make it with a stand-up triple.
Second triple, both against the Mets, his old team. The Braves are very happy that that pitch was called a strike off the plate, because EY just split the gap. No trouble standing up.
Infield in for Callaspo. Figure he'll put it in play. He did. But it's slicing foul to left. Strike 1. Pitcher's pitch off the corner. Little fly ball, shallow center. Lagares sets up. This will be fun. Runner tags. Here comes the throw. It's up the first base line. And Callaspo puts the Braves in front with a sacrifice fly on a 2-strike count. It's 2-1 Braves. Boy, 2 disappointing throws from a Gold Glove center fielder Lagares tonight.
This one was about his setup, and it wasn't very deep. It was high enough for him to get behind it and come to it. See how he stepped? He stepped with his right foot behind his left, and when you do that, your shoulders and hips both turn, and if you're having to make a strong throw, very little chance of being on target because of it.
Atlanta happy to take advantage. They lead 2-1. Callaspo put it in play. Here's Markakis. He grounds to the right side. That'll sneak through for a hit. Couldn't analyze the swing, Joe, because the cotton candy guy was in my way, but the result certainly was good.
Well, I can tell you it was pinky. Change up. Kind of running away from Nick, but covered it. Freddie with those 3 strikeouts last night, 1 tonight, swinging. The 3 last night, 2 were swinging. His strikeouts always come in bunches. Remember? I mean, throughout his career, he just kind of goes on these little binges. Hopefully this is not the start of one of those. I mean, for a guy who was absolutely squaring everything up in Toronto. Having a tough start to this series.
2 strikes, 2 outs. A run in. 2-1 Braves. Pitch. Right off the knuckles. Out of play our way. Young's 1-out triple turned into the second run on a Callaspo sac fly. 0-2 pitch. Nice catch.
Really changing his eye level too. Fastball up and in that he fought off. Fastball down. And try to tie him up again.
Fly ball left. Kadire gallops in and gets there. Atlanta cashes in a 1-out triple. They take the lead. Eric Stoltz has the bottom of the order coming up.
For John Smoltz, history in Atlanta. And the congratulations from Brian McCann. That ball ticketed for Cooperstown, and someday so's that man.
And that someday is this year. John Smoltz headed to the Hall of Fame. Felipe Lopez, strikeout victim number 3,000 for the Braves right-hander, who looked awfully young in those video clips.
Yeah, if we run that back, I thought he and Chipper were going to kiss. I didn't know what that was all about, that kind of hugging, but congratulations on the anniversary and for his induction that will come up in July.
Ruben Tejada leads off for the Mets. He reached on an error back in the second inning. Stoltz pitching well now. He's retired 8 straight. And he's got Tejada on a pop up to the right side. Peterson calls off Freeman. He's got it. And there's out number 1. Stoltz threw 29 pitches in the second inning. He has settled in very nicely since. And as we talked earlier, it'd be very nice if he could take this thing somehow, some way into the 7th or beyond. He's at 74 pitches right now.
Yeah, but it starts with the command of the zone, being down in the zone. He's getting some pop-ups. He's getting some ground balls. See, that's that slider that he was having trouble locating earlier that was about belt high. He's getting it down now.
This is how he pitched in the spring. Beaten down in Orlando.
Mixing in a nice, slow 67-mile-an-hour curveball.
And he just struck out his mound opponent, Dylan G. 10 up, 10 down. 4 strikeouts for Stoltz. And we head to the top of the order in Mayberry.
Good call by old pal. Boog Shambi on that 3,000th strikeout of John Smoltz. John's feeling good after some knee surgery in the offseason.
Strike one to Mayberry, who tripled to start the game. Well, how big is that out? For that sequence for Stoltz in the first inning. Runner at third, nobody out. The Mets couldn't bring Mayberry home. Change up a beauty. Back-to-back strikeouts for Stoltz, who set down 11 straight Mets. And that'll try to end New York's 9-game winning streak. They enjoy a 2-1 lead. After 5 innings. Let's go back to our AT&T Uverse trivia question. John Smoltz ranks 4th all-time for strikeouts by National League right-handed pitcher. Who's first?
You know, I said Bob Gibson. Our pal Don Sutton might be on that list too somewhere, but it's hard for me to say someone other than Gibby.
Gibby? I mean, you can have Nolan Ryan in there.
Yeah.
All those years with the Astros. I'm going to stick with Tom Seaver because we're in New York.
All right.
All right. Bum-fuzzled right now. Greg Maddux is the answer.
I really hope he's not watching.
That really surprises me. You think strikeouts, power pitchers, guys throwing 95 miles an hour, which Seaver and Gibson and Nolan Ryan certainly could do, but it's Greg Maddux.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, can you tell? That is a great question.
1-2 for Przinsky, who shoots another one the other way. Have yourself a night. First game at Citi Field, and A.J. Przinsky might want to spend the night. He's 3 for 3. And a good start for the Braves, 6th inning.
He just raked that double into the right field corner, which would have been a triple had it not been for the ball hitting the padding 7 or 8 times. But they've been trying to keep the ball away from him since then, and he's just taken what they offer. And Dylan G. Hing's curveball, 3 for 3.
Kelly Johnson's 1 for 2 tonight. And punched out a play foul.
And as he did his last time up, went after that first pitch. Got a fastball. He's a fastball hitter. Kelly's pretty much a dead pull hitter, and they were playing him with a shift in Toronto. It'd be nice to pull one through the right side here.
Oh! 0-2. That's popped up, foul ground. Campbell on the run near the Braves dugout, and he's going to make a basket catch. Tough play and a nice play. That's the first out.
It's an interesting catch to turn the glove over and make it basket style. He knew he was right on the railing, but it worked. Again, he's doing a good job for them.
Anderson's 1 for 2. He's got an RBI hit. He's also lined out. Swinging the bat well. This one, though, a double play ball. There's one. There's two due to the stretch. And we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for New York. Braves have a 2-1 lead. First inning, but he got out of it. And what a difference that sequence turned out to be as he kept the Mets off the scoreboard.
Yeah, a strikeout, a line out, and then Kadire chasing a pitch out of the zone, flies out, left that runner at third base, and that was a big play at this point.
That's our SunTrust save of the game as Stoltz goes to work in the 6th inning. He's retired 11 straight men. He leads 2-1. Tough inning ahead. The 2, 3, 4 hitters for the Mets. Lagares, Duda, and Kadire. Lagares has struck out swinging twice tonight. 2 balls, no strikes. Ground ball, second base. Peterson's got it. And Lagares is 0 for 3. Here's Duda. He's lined out, popped out. Ball, no strikes. If you didn't join us last night, shame on you. But one of the big stories of this ballpark for the Mets is the dramatically closer fences in right and right center field. Fences that the Mets hope will help Lucas Duda and David Wright hit a lot more home runs.
Yeah, that area from that 380 mark around the corner kind of bows in toward home plate now. And it's a very reachable power alley fence for this guy.
.380 now to right center. And Stoltz has Duda off stride, a ball and 2 strikes.
You can kind of picture the Braves bullpen in Turner Field. There's a sign right there at that gate, 390. And that 370 mark you see there on the right side of your screen is right about where the Braves bullpen gate would be. 20 feet shorter here.
One-two count. And Duda shoots one into right field and beats the shift. He's around first and slams on the brakes. So that sends Eric Stoltz to the stretch for the first time since the 2nd inning tonight. And Duda represents the tying run with Michael Kadire coming up. He does look better against lefties, doesn't he?
Oh, so much better. Stays back. This one was like throwing darts and hitting the bullseye because there were so many people standing around the baseball, but he dropped it in between everyone.
Braves bullpen will go to work. Dyer's hitless, and it's taken high.
Time is low. Let's see if he goes to that changeup or slider that's been effective the last 3 innings. Slider, you can see him with that follow through. He just didn't finish it.
Count, dangerous pitch. Took it.
Now let's see if they go back and threw a 2-0 slider, attempted it.
Took it.
And reminded himself after he missed with the 2-0 slider to finish his pitch and follow through, and he did there. Got a good result. Now change up.
And it's served into right field. Markakis has plenty of room. 2 outs.
Good sequence.
First goes Duda.
Great sequence. After falling behind 3-0 to a dangerous hitter, he made some good pitches, but he started with a 3-0 fastball right there. If Kadire was going to swing, he was going to get a good pitch to hit. And then Stoltz came back with a good slider and changeup.
Eric Campbell is the Mets' final hope for the 6th inning. He's doubled, scored, and flied to right. Stoltz spot on the lineup card is due second in the 7th. This one's popped up down the left field line. Can he keep it fair? He cannot. It's in the stands. So I imagine all you got, everything you got to get Eric Campbell.
Right. And you figure that, as you said, you figure this to be his last inning.
He missed that ball by a foot.
Yeah, it was another good changeup. Now that's what Kadire hit for the fly ball out on a 3-2 count. Mayberry struck out on the changeup in the 5th inning and looked just about like that. So well disguised.
1 ball, 2 strikes for the Mets third baseman, Eric Campbell. Changeup, then an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. You saw how late he was.
Yeah, and kind of got it up out of the zone so that he couldn't do much with it. Make a good pitch here. You don't want to give Duda the chance to get a head start 3-2 and have Campbell slice a double somewhere that might tie the game.
Now the changeup coming, and it's grounded up the middle. Peterson's got it. The flip to Simmons at the bag, and Eric Stoltz is through 6 innings with a 1-run lead. He's pitching a beauty tonight. 2-1 is your score. We head to the 7th. Tonight, he led 1-0. Was tied 1-1. The Braves gave him a 5th inning run. Stoltz has retired 14 of the last 15 men he's faced, and that might be the end of the line for him as his spot's due second as we go to the 7th inning.
Just what they needed. You know, we talked about that at the beginning of the broadcast with the 4 and 5 starters needing to pull some of their own weight. Eric certainly did that tonight. Had a great stretch there where he retired 12 in a row. How about some more runs for him?
Some insurance would really help. Fly ball deep center. Lagares plays shallowly. He's on the run. Back to the infield. Still going. Oh, what a catch. What a catch by Lagares to rob Jace Peterson. Are you kidding me? I didn't think catch that ball.
He may not have a golden arm, but he does have a gold glove. Turned his back on the infield, ran to a spot where he thought the ball was going to come down. He makes a real special play. That's where his 28 runs saved comes into play.
That's at least a double, probably a triple, and who knows, maybe more, that he just took away from Jace Peterson for the first out of the innings. Phil Gosselin will pinch hit for Eric Stoltz, who went 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits. And Phil takes the ball to even the count. Gosselin got a start last night and went 1 for 3. Sharply hit, but Campbell's got it. He throws like Ryan Zimmerman used to with Washington.
Maybe that's what it is. I keep trying in my head to figure out who is it that he reminds me of, and there is some, kind
of under over like a tennis return from serve.
It's not pretty.
No,
but it works for him.
And that's the second out. Eric Young has come back to New York, and he has scored the go-ahead run. He tripled last time up, his second triple of the season. And a strike from Dylan G, who's pitching a good ball game tonight. But Eric Stoltz has handcuffed the Mets on 4 hits. Broken bat. Flores at short, charges, side saddles, and throws a strike. 7th inning stretch in New York. Atlanta 2, New York 1. The Braves bullpen. The stage is yours. Tonight it was Eric Stoltz who leaves with a 2-1 advantage. We're told we need to revisit our AT&T trivia question. We were all around it.
Well, when you've got a Moose sweater, even more reason to be remembered as the all-time strikeout king.
Did you ever have a sweater like that as a kid at any point?
I had a snowflake thing, I think. It was navy blue and had snowflakes across it.
The kind of sweater you wear to 3rd grade and get you absolutely just beaten up on the playground?
Pretty much.
That's kind of the same thing for Greg as an adult.
Well, Greg looks like he got that one from Dikembe Mutombo. You know, it was kind of stretched out maybe and wear it down to his knees.
Yeah. Oh, man. So Cody Martin is on to pitch the 7th. You know how this sets up now. Caleb Martin has the 7th, Johnson the 8th, Gurley the 9th. Braves up by a run late in New York, trying to snap the Mets' 9-game winning streak.
Cody's been great doing just that. Counting the strike zone. Did not give up a run in 9 innings in spring training. He's given up 1 run in 9 innings in relief in the regular season, and that was on a home run to Michael Morse.
In the air to right, Markakis had his man played well and makes the running catch to retire Plawecki. Away in the 7th. His pitchers have retired 15 of the last 16 Mets.
How sweet is it that nobody drafted Cody Martin in the Rule 5 draft?
Yeah.
He was probably thinking at the time when he was left off the 40-man roster, well, okay, if they don't want me, then I'll bet somebody else does, and had to be a little crushed or disappointed that nobody drafted him in the Rule 5 draft. And
fly ball, well hit toward left. KJ back to the wall. Wilmer Flores has hit a solo homer to tie it. His 3rd home run in the last 5 games, and the Big Apple is alight. And the Mets have tied it at 2 on a solo homer.
Looked like a slider that turned into a cement mixer. Yep. Oh, Wilmer Flores barrels up a lot of baseballs.
Here's Ruben Tejada. As I said earlier, you don't hear any talk about Troy Tulowitzki or Jimmy Rollins or anybody else playing shortstop for the Mets now. Wilmer Flores on a terrific tear. And count to Tejada, 1 ball, 1 strike. Evan G off the hook for the moment. He needs a run to have a chance to win it. And Tejada tried to hit one out. Kelly Johnson in a step, now back 5 or 6. There's the 2nd out. And Daniel Murphy with the bases empty.
That hurts too, because Eric Stoltz pitched such a good ball game. He'll come away with a no decision.
He shaved almost 2 full runs off his season earned run average. Stoltz now at 450. For the year. Murphy the batter. Well, you hope the Braves can get some offense going in the 8th inning. As we mentioned earlier, the Braves relief corps has been very good, but they've been used an awful lot. 9 of the first 14 games, Braves starters have lasted less than 6 innings, which taxes your bullpen. One pitch. And Murphy's late.
Murphy off to a very slow start for him, just a 143 average.
He took that out of AJ's glove.
Sure did.
Ball and 2 strikes, and Murphy's down swinging. AJ will pick up the loose ball, and his throw to first sends this game to inning number 8. Wilmer Flores, 2 hits, both Mets RBIs. A solo homer ties it after 7. And center, tons of great options like the Braves Columbia PFG short sleeve shirts are available. To check out the entire selection, stop by the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center or call 404-523-5854. Sean Gilmartin's back out there for the Mets. He's had a nice run. This is his 6th game, and he'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for Atlanta.
Yeah, he's given up some runs, but none to Atlanta, and worked an inning last night. Gave up a base hit to Phil Gosselin, then got a double play ball. Retired Cameron Maybin. The game was over. So maybe after some familiarity with him, maybe the Braves can touch him up here.
Aspo, a switch hitter. Then you've got Markakis, Freeman, and A.J. Brzezinski, all left-handed bats. That's why Gilmartin's in this inning. And he missed with a sinker low. 1 ball, no strikes. Aspo delivered the go-ahead run for the Braves in the 5th with a sacrifice fly. Mets tied it a moment ago on a Wilmer Flores solo home run. Popped up right side. Duda gives chase near the Mets railing, and he's going to have room. There is a lot of foul ground here. This is a true pitcher's park.
Yeah, and it's all right here behind home plate, about halfway down the third and first base line, and then very little, if any, foul territory for the outfielders in the corners.
Here's Markakis. Nick 1 for 3 with a single. He's popped out and lined out in his other at bats. Strike. And slicing into the seats out of play. 2. Dylan G. Another very good start. 49th straight of better than 5 innings. He went 7, 2 runs, 8 hits. No decision for him as well. Little pop behind third. That'll carry out to Kadire near the line. 2 down.
Started Markakis with kind of a slow, loopy curveball. As Johnson gets ready. I don't know if he'll start Freddie with that same thing, but I think I'd go up there looking for it the first pitch.
Stairs, ball 1.
That was the slider. $20,971 the paid crowd in New York tonight. And Freeman way ahead in the count, 3-0. If I didn't know better, I'd swear they're pitching around him. You know, they just don't want to make a mistake to him. They'd rather take the chances with AJ. AJ right now swinging it better.
He's 3 for 3. Freeman's 0 for 3. Pitch. Strike.
All breaking balls. Maybe one changeup on ball 2, but everything else has been a breaking ball.
Payoff pitch. Just missed the inside corner, and Freeman took it and earned a 2-out walk.
That was a good job there by Plawecki, trying to frame that pitch and get the call for strike 3. This is the whole sequence. Slider in the dirt. It was a breaking ball, not a changeup. Curve, curve. Curve. Curve.
Brzezinski, a perfect night. 3 for 3, and he looks low. 0-1. Mets bullpen is injury riddled. Martin, a Rule 5 guy, pitching important innings for the Mets. Levin's out.
He better not leave that breaking ball up to AJ. He makes a mistake upstairs with him. It'll be a 2-run jack.
It's Buddy Carlisle, old pal, loosening for the Mets. 2-0 count. Nearly hit him. Ball 3. Kelly Johnson waits on deck.
Green light. Look for the hook. See what happens.
Big gap in right center. If AJ can fill it, Freeman could score from first. The pitch. He takes a walk on 4 pitches. Back-to-back 2-out passes. Now Plawecki out to settle down Gilmartin. And Kelly Johnson is going to be called back. Johnny Gomes will be announced. And then Terry Collins has to decide Gilmartin versus Gomes or Buddy Carlisle versus Gomes. A little more time to allow Carlisle to loosen in the Mets pen. Gomes is announced. Terry Collins on the steps. And Terry Collins is going to make his decision. So back-to-back walks create some excitement for Atlanta in the 8th inning. Johnny Gomes will pinch hit. Buddy Carlisle will be summoned out of the Mets bullpen. Can Johnny do it late again for Atlanta? We'll find out. Our game's tied at 2. It offers Sport Clips $8 Mondays get you a terrace level seat for $8, and the Coca-Cola $12 Tuesday deal gets you club level seats for just $12. Visit Braves.com/specials for the lowest ticket prices and best deals for this 2015 season. Well, we showed you before the game, Johnny Gomes knows how to clean up.
Yep. Helping out his teammates. Doing the rain delay, doing a little squeegee work. Sweeping up his own sunflower seeds. He can do a little cleanup right here.
There you go.
With the go-ahead runs on base and 2 out against Buddy Carlisle. Former Braves in his 6th game. pretty much a sinker slider guy and throws a lot of sinkers.
Picked up his first career save earlier this year for the Mets. Johnny Gomes had a pinch hit home run on Friday in Toronto. That was in the 8th inning. April 12th. Hit his first homer of the year against Bartolo Colon. Go ahead runs aboard with 2 outs. A couple of walks to Freeman and Przinsky. So Gomes, that's for Kelly Johnson. Outside corner, good pitch, strike 1.
Location, action. That's what Buddy relies on. And he's just got to make sure he gets a pitch like that one. It's up.
A fastball right there, 0-2. Braves are 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. 1 for 10 in the series. Top of the Mets orders coming up in the bottom of this inning. And Atlanta break through and take the lead again. Now he'll have to come through with 2 strikes. He was right on.
Their outfield very shallow. Not just Lagares, but all 3 guys are shallow. Base hit. Freddie will be off at the crack of the bat, but he's going to have to go.
No balls, 2 strikes. Carlisle wants a new set of signs.
Very, very fidgety out there.
Campbell in foul ground. He's under it. He's now in fair ground, and he makes the play. And that'll retire the side. The Braves strand a pair in the 8th. Top of the order coming up for the Mets. Buddy Carlisle keeps it tied at 2. D's game summary.
Well, there's 3 Braves caps on that deal, and Eric Stoltz pitched a good ball game. Unfortunately, he's going to get no decision. Had a stretch where he retired 12 in a row from the 2nd inning into the 6th. A.J. Brzezinski's had a good night. Eric Young Jr. had a decisive triple that gave the Braves the lead as he scored a run in the 5th inning. But Wilmer Flores has driven in both runs for the Mets in the last on a solo homer with 1 out in the 7th.
Johnny Gomes will stay into play left field. Big Jim Johnson is on the mound looking for better tidings. Tough trip to Toronto for Jim. And he's got the top of the order coming up for New York. Curtis Granderson bats for Mayberry. Four runs, 6 hits in 2 innings against Toronto, including a couple of homers. For Johnson, you always have to worry about the home run pop of Curtis Granderson. With 20 of them last year.
For Jim Johnson, it's all about keeping the ball down. He gets ahead in the count. He can break out that 95 fastball you saw a moment ago and elevate it. It is sinker. That one, it's got to be down in the zone. Good pitch.
But off the plate, full count. And Granderson earns a leadoff walk.
Not sure what was wrong with that. PNC Bank pitch tracks, right? Shows he's a little out of the zone, and Chris Segal, first look at him behind the plate tonight. If it's Segal, I'm not going to mess with him. You might know Steven.
Let's see how the Mets play it. Lagares had the strikeout ball working tonight. He's 0 for 3. He's also grounded out. You got Duda waiting on deck. That's what the Braves wanted to see if he was going to show bunt. He didn't on that pickoff throw to first. Showed bunt and took outside. That's one of the responsibilities of a number 2 hitter, is it not? You got to be able to handle the bat and lay down a bunt every now and then.
Absolutely, especially if you're not going so good.
Harris does not have a sacrifice bunt this year. The bunt was off, and he serves the ball to right field. All hands are safe. Granderson on his way to third. He picked the perfect hole to put the ball through, and the Mets have him at the corners with nobody out. Wow.
That's what a hit and run's all about. It's just putting it in play and protecting the runner. Hit it on the ground, protect the runner. And sometimes, even when you hit it weakly, you hit it in the right spot. Second baseman covering. Big hole. First and third, nobody out.
Now Lucas Duda, the batter. Brzezinski saved a run with a great stop. Ball 1. Base hit to left, Mets lead. It all starts with a leadoff walk in the 8th inning. Granderson scores to make it 3-2 Mets.
Exactly right, Chip. In the last 2 nights, that leadoff walk has been just awful for the Atlanta Braves. And it happens again. Lucas Duda is making himself into a pretty darn good hitter, not just a slugger.
And all those innings that we talked about that are being racked up by the Braves pen may be catching up to them. With that run scored by the Mets here in the 8th, that's 15 runs allowed by the Braves bullpen over the last 7 games. And for Johnson, that's 5 in his last 3 appearances.
Yeah, he's had some rest, though. He should be ready to go tonight. He made some good pitches to Granderson ahead in the count that ran the count full that Granderson laid off. That was the key to that walk. But now, okay, you've given up a run, nobody out. Try to control the inning, limit the damage.
Broken back ground ball toward third. One there and two there. Long throws around the diamond for the Braves. Johnson got Kadire to double up. Lagares to third, now 2 outs. That's a big sequence.
And another off throw by Callaspo. Remember, Jace Peterson made a good play to get a force out earlier tonight. That time he had to make a real athletic move to save this throw. Pulled him right into the runner. And that really doesn't tell the story of how far he had to come off the bag to get that.
Looking ahead to the Braves' ninth, Simmons, Peterson, and then we'll see. 3-2 New York. That's with single runs in the 7th and 8th, taking a 1-run lead. He was trying to keep the Mets from winning their 10th straight game and 9th straight at home to start the year. Pitch. Breaking ball.
He didn't throw many, but that was a beaut. We won't know till after the game, but I'm wondering if Terry Collins took the bunt off and put the hit run on because Jim Johnson throws so hard he's hard to bunt. Just took a chance.
Harris was able to put it in play and work to perfection for New York. Duda with the go-ahead RBI. 1-2 pitch for Campbell. In the dirt. Some will hate the term small ball, but it really is fundamental baseball that the Mets employed in this inning.
But that's why they're winning. They're executing. They got a home run from Flores with 1 out, nobody on to tie it. And then get a leadoff walk and go to work.
Is in the dirt. Lost Campbell.
His bullpen was quiet, then he get busy again.
This meeting continues. Miami clobbering the Phillies 6-1 in the 9th. Pirates 4, Cubs 3. It's snowing in Pittsburgh, by the way. Cardinals beat Washington 7-5. Reds Brewers tied 1-1 in the 8th. Rockies 3-2 over the Padres in the 6th. Here are the ugly relief numbers over the last week for the Braves relievers.
16 runs allowed in their last 7 games and 2 on here. Double the number of walks.
Kevin Plawecki, the rookie catcher, 0 for 3 in his second big league game tonight. He's getting the ball down, but he can't get the image to work.
Can't get them to offer.
That's more like it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets runners. Krasinski knocked it down, but a good secondary lead by Duda. He took second base, and that takes away a force play. Duda at second on a wild pitch. The danger of that play is a hit could score 2 runs.
AJ was just concentrating on keeping that runner at third base.
That buzzed the tower. 3-1.
Don't give in here.
And 2 picked out of AJ's glove. Full count now.
Same thing. Young hitter, talented player, won the Mets like a lot. But with first base open, 2 guys on, maybe expands his zone a little bit to help you out.
He didn't. 3 walks in the inning for Jim Johnson. The Mets have the bases loaded. And after 24 pitches, Freddie Gonzalez didn't want to, but he has to go to his bullpen again.
Got to be a little concerned about Jim Johnson. 2 hits, 3 walks in the inning, and granted there was that one that was pitching around a guy with the base open, but it's very concerning.
Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Follow the Braves all year long with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is the up to the minute, up to the moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Source. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. 3rd straight poor outing for Jim Johnson. He leaves with the bases loaded. A run in for the Mets. 3 walks, 2 hits. For the king-size right-hander, now Brandon Kniff is on for the 9th time.
And threw a lot of pitches last night in his 1 inning of work. He walked up 2 more guys, gave up a base hit, an inning of relief, 1 run allowed.
Wilmer Flores is 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, including a homer.
Atlanta. And he is a lot taller than he looks. He's 6'3", rangy, very upright in his swing.
Ground ball deep short. Simmons has it. The flip to second is in time. And that sends us to the 9th inning. The Mets cash in 3 8th-inning walks. They're bidding for their 7th comeback win of the year, going to the 9th. Inning tie. These are the Toyota key plays of the game.
And the walk and then the super hit and run play put on by Terry Collins works to perfection as Lagares just pokes it over to the right side, and then Lucas Duda comes through with a base hit to put on top.
So we head to the 9th inning. New York 3, Atlanta 2. The Mets trying to win their 10th straight game. They've got their glove men in the outfield. Kirk Neuenhuis checks in to play left. Curtis Granderson stays in the game to play right. And one of the pleasant surprises in a season filled with them for New York so far is the man that inherited the closer's role, and that's Jeurys Familia.
And he just keeps getting better and better without each outing, it seems like. Going for his 7th save, his 9th game. 9 strikeouts in 7+ innings, and he can bring it. 95 to 97 on his fastball. Mostly fastball, slider, mixes in a rare changeup. All hard stuff.
With Bobby Parnell coming back from Tommy John surgery and Henry Mejia out with suspension, Familia has stepped in and pitched great baseball in the closer's role for the Mets. 9 strikeouts in 7 2/3 innings. And he'll face Andrelton Simmons first here in the Braves 9th. 3-2 New York. Strike one. Broken bat, right back to the mound. Sawed him right off. One down.
I'll say the ball hit the dirt and just died.
We wrap up this series with the Mets here tomorrow. Braves live on Sports South at 12:30 Eastern time. That'll be Julio Teheran and Bartolo Colon. And then over on Fox Sports South, we'll have the Braves Phillies weekend series. Friday's game is at 6:30 Eastern. Game 2 is Saturday also at 6:30 Eastern time. Jace Peterson 0 for 2, but tough luck. Lagares robbed him of at least a triple in the 7th inning leading off. Best catches we've seen this season. We've seen a bunch of them.
Well, it was a huge play because he's leading off the inning, as you said, and would have given the Braves an opportunity with an extra base hit and leading off the inning to get him around.
Even count. Sharply hit. Flores surrounded it. The ball dropped to his feet, and he makes the play. He's having a great night. And Jace Peterson can't hit the ball any harder than he has 3 times tonight.
Could do it except get in front of it because he couldn't get out of the way of it. So Zaxby's indescribably good play. Just want to make sure he knocked it down, controlled it. Terrific play.
He's a different guy than what we saw in Atlanta. So Chris Johnson, the final hope for the Braves. He'll pinch hit.
All of the Braves left-handed hitters, including the switch hitter Eric Young, were in the starting lineup, so nobody left-handed available on the bench.
Sinker missed low for Chris. He would count.
And you got to be careful. You got to be ready because he will do that. Looks like he's going into a stretch and then keep going into a wind up and kind of quick pitch you.
His slider is exploding.
Hard. 88 on this one. This is when he likes to try that quick pitch. Let's see if he does it.
Yep. And that's your ball game. The Mets have won 10 in a row. They have 7 comeback wins this year, and they've beaten the Braves by a final score.